Zero Tolerance, first-person shooter title for the Sega Genesis. At first glance, there's nothing truly remarkable about this game. However, the game closely resembles other shooters of the early 90s. For a game on the base Sega Genesis without a 32X or CD edition, it actually looks better than Doom did on some of the other extremely low-end PCs at the same time. Again, I'll restate there's nothing truly remarkable about this title. That is until I discovered something truly unique about it. If you're lucky enough to find a box copy of the game with the original contents intact, like a time capsule from the early 90s, what I discovered was a plain white card, and on it stated the following. Blow away a friend or join forces to defeat the terrorists. Return this card for a free, 2-player, special cable. This discovery to me was amazing. Never before had I heard of a link between two Sega Genesis. I didn't even think the feat was possible until the PlayStation 1. But this is when I started my quest for the cable. What's the most surprising thing about this adventure was that there was limited evidence outside of the white card of the cable's existence. What was the strangest thing about it was that it's not what you consider when you consider a system link cable. It works by plugging into the Player 2 port across two separate Sega Genesis. The first crumb I found in this quest was a diagram of how the cord was internally laid out, making me ponder the idea of attempting to build one, considering it's basically just a rewired controller 2 cable. However, after considering my lack of knowledge in this area, I decided that I would probably just end up with a bunch of murder controller cables, so clearer heads prevailed. After a few more searches of looking at vendors in the United States came up empty, I had to look wider. Where I finally found the cable was a website tied to a company in Hong Kong. I was considerably happy about my discovery, but at the same time I was a bit hesitant to spend money on something I may never see. So I made the gamble and I dropped $30 on this thing. So I placed the order, and then I forget all about it. After about 3 months, I get a letter on my door saying that there's a package waiting for me at the post office. When I get there, there's actually a package there with a ton of Hong Kong custom stickers on it. And at that point, I remembered what I ordered. And this is where we find ourselves now. However, you're going to need a few things to make this work. You're going to need the cable in order to connect the consoles together. Then you're going to need 2 copies of the game, but then you also need 2 Sega Genesis to make this whole thing work. But remember, the most important thing you're going to need in this gun-toting adventure is a friend to kill all the bad guys with. A part of me didn't believe this would actually work. The 2 consoles actually sync together. I hate to be that guy that's impressed by something that's about 20 years old, but I'm really impressed by this. The cord really works. What impressed me the most about this is, despite being 2 separate game consoles, the games stay perfectly synced up, and that includes enemy combatants moving across the screen. There is no noticeable difference in gameplay with the 2 systems. Accuracy in which the player character is staying synced up is impressive. The only noticeable time that you can't track another player is when they travel through an elevator, but that makes sense because it's a 3D moving polygon where the player is a 2D sprite. Played this game with a friend for more than 2 hours, and at no point did the games ever become desynced. Even the enemy combatants, even after 2 hours of play, stayed perfectly in sync with each other on the different consoles. As how this works through a Player 2 port on a Sega Genesis, I will never understand. But I am still incredibly impressed by this. The game, despite having a limited field of vision, is still really fun to play. And with the addition of an ally to help you clear rooms, the game becomes incredibly fun. Zero Tolerance is worth owning. If you own it already, I highly suggest you track down the link cable for it. The added addition of the link cable in Zero Tolerance makes the game a lost gem in my opinion, because never before had I heard of a system link cable between 2 Sega Genesis. Zero Tolerance is a widely forgotten shooter, but with the addition of the link cable, I think it's something everyone should consider tracking down. But I'll leave you now with my friend shooting me in the back because he considered the mission more important.
What is that number? I think that's her health.
Oh god.
You dead?
No. Ah!
Dude, you weren't gonna make it.